now, and I need more warriors in the game, because there are only so many people that I can serve in a day, and the principled chiropractors that are out and about in the world right now can serve. We need more chiropractors, but we need more chiropractors who believe in chiropractic. We need more chiropractors that know the philosophy, that know the principles so well that you couldn't separate it out of them. So I guess some backstory on me, because this isn't something like, I didn't have chiropractic parents. So I didn't get my first adjustment till I was a month into school. I was pre-med or pre-dentistry. I graduated from Cleveland in 2010. So I always knew I wanted to help people, but I had no idea how. And I was a single mom at Kansas State University, and I took my MCATs, I took my entrance exams for dental school, and then I started shadowing people, and I'm like, I don't like drugs, I don't like surgery, I can't do this. What am I going to do? Shadowed a dentist, hated that. Could you imagine? Like, I could not imagine. That was very quickly not the field for me. But I had a baby, and I was only a few months out from graduation, and I was a bartender on the weekends, and I waited on this table, and there was this big group, and there was one guy who seemed to be the life of the party, and then he paid for everybody's tab. And I'll like start crying when I think about it, because like, single mom, food stamps, in the like, how am I going to provide for you? And I'm watching this, I'm like, I want to be able to do that. No matter what, I want to be able to do that. And it was the light that he carried. And I was like, so what do you do? I'm a chiropractor. Where'd you go to school? Cleveland. So I went home, middle of the night, I'm looking it up, and they have a discovery day the next week at Cleveland. And so innate, right? The whispers are always there, but it's the listening that's tricky. So I follow the call. I'm like, well, I'm going to go to this discovery day. I go to Cleveland Chiropractic, and Dr. Carl Cleveland, is doing the introduction for the new student day. And he starts talking about the power that made the body heals the body. And he put up the autonomic nervous chart, and he talked about a safety pin. And he started saying these truths that I had never heard anywhere, but that I always knew were true. It's like, what is this? And how am I in my 20s and I've never heard, like, I didn't know chiropractic did this. I didn't know this about. So I wanted to know more. I called my mom. I was so excited. I was like, Mom, I'm going to go to chiropractic school. And she's like, Devin, you've never been. And I was like, yeah, I know, but like, this is it. And there was that something that just instantly woke up inside me. And it gifted me that I didn't come into chiropractic with any preconceived notions or limitations on what it was or what it was capable of. So I don't know where you fall in that spectrum. If you're somebody who's generationally been in chiropractic, or you're somebody who's new in chiropractic, but if for a minute you could just forget absolutely everything that you think you know about chiropractic, especially what you are learning with your educated brain, because I know you need it and I know you got to pass the things, but if you could just put that over here in a basket and pick it up after we finish this call, that would be great. Because I want to talk to the version of you that is looking for that thing, that is looking for the love of your life, that opens all the doors, the golden key to all the things, because it is chiropractic. If you are where you are, it's because innate has called you there. And it will become second nature. Or maybe if you've been in it generationally, you already take it for granted. Maybe some of you are getting adjusted and you've never had to pay for it. So the value may not even be there. Where I retap into the value and to the bigness of what we do, it's in these green books, it's in the philosophy, it's in the roots of the potential, not what I think is possible, but what the universe says is possible. So going back, I decide to go to chiropractic school. I get in, I finally got adjusted. Like a month, guys, a month into school before I got adjusted. And it was not like anything to write home about. I will not say that any like magic turned on, but over the course of like the next few months, these migraine headaches that I'd had for as long as I could remember started to get better. And I'm like, okay, like what else is there? There's this curiosity. What else is there? I start learning more of the philosophy about, God, I don't even know how long it was. It had to be maybe 6 months or more that I was in school where somebody said, have you gotten your son adjusted? My son was a forceps birth. He was blue when he was born. For the first year of life, he would hold his breath and pass out because he was subluxated and it was trapping his vagus nerve. So I was like, I mean, kids get adjusted? And I watched one of the masters at Cleveland who specialized in pediatrics adjust him, went home, he slept for the first time in 2 years. And I was like, it set off a rage in me because where in the hell were the chiropractors when I needed them for the last 2 years to check my child and help us sleep and help him thrive? Where were the chiropractors? I had already been to all the doctors, and how did they, how did no one tell me? And it tapped into this Hulk rage where it's like, hold on. So chiropractic can help with all these things. Chiropractic has this big truth. Why don't more people know? And I want you to sit with that question, because now when I look at it in this day, in 2021, here we are off the heels of 2020 and all the things that I won't even name. Where is chiropractic? If you watch the news, are you hearing about chiropractic? If you go on social media, are you reading about chiropractic making a big difference and impact in the state of the world right now? If you look to the chiropractors that you know in practice, how are they living? How are they doing? How are their practices? There's a gap. There's a subluxation in our profession. And I think it's because we need to return to our principles and to our foundation. And so I'm going to share some of my favorite excerpts from the Green Books. I, by the way, didn't know what a Green Book was until one of my first Focus OKC seminars about a year, no, probably 2 years in, year and a half, 2 years into practice, right? I didn't know, not once at Cleveland Chiropractic did anybody talk to me about a Green Book. No clue they even existed. So now you don't have an excuse after this call. If I'm on a philosophy call, I assume, which I shouldn't, but you all know what I'm talking about. Pick one and make your way through it. These ones that I'm going to choose from are some of my favorites. They're a little more fun to read. Some of them are dry, but go fall into them, because that's what will hold you steady. It's the anchor. It's when you doubt the possibility of chiropractic, when you doubt or let fear creep in because of whatever's going on in the world, it's what you have to anchor back into, because it will set you free every single time. So appropriately, I'll start with Life Without Fear. And Fred Barge, in just one word in the one sentence in the introduction, I have often said that belief in chiropractic philosophy gives one a life without fear. Close your eyes for a second and put your hands on your heart. I want you to replay highlights from March 2020 to current. All the times you've seen, heard, felt fear on people you know and love. In your school, what does fear look like? What is it doing to our country, to our world, to our families, to humanity? What is fear doing? Look at the way the schools are reacting and the manageability, the liability that they're all moving with. Life without fear, guys. That's what you do. You sell adjustments. You serve life. The adjustments are the mechanics. The adjustments are the moving of the bone. They are huge. I had someone ask me a long time ago, if you had to pick one, if you're deserted on an island for the rest of your existence and you have to pick one, either the adjustment or the philosophy, what would you keep? Hands down, the philosophy. Didn't hesitate when I answered that question, because it's a way of life. So yes, you're inviting people in and you want to adjust them, to serve them, and to restore balance and the ability to thrive into their systems. And right now you are a way, you are a different way. You are a different choice. Because if you go out in anywhere in the public, what do you see? I see fear on fear on fear on fear. My office, my social media, my any of it is a different way. It's a different choice. It's a life without fear. So this book couldn't be more applicable now. But if we cut off the camera right now and I could give you anything, go fall into this book. Life without fear. That's the solution to all of it. And you are the way. What if it's you? What have you thought about that? Have you thought about the odds? They say it's 1 in 400 trillion, I think, that one sperm and one egg would come together and you would be you. So the odds were 1 in 400 trillion that your mom and dad in that moment, that spark of life would create you. Expect a miracle, right? You're a miracle. Then you think of all the things that had to play out for you to be in chiropractic school right now. And here you are, not under the most ideal circumstances, but even that has medicine to it. It should make you hungry. It should make you more passionate than ever, because before, most people were going to chiropractic school so that they could get in network with insurances and make good money, treating low back pain and headaches. And there's nothing wrong with it, because I think that there's great value in being able to help people get out of pain, but it's a different game now. And it's going to require a different caliber of human, a different caliber of chiropractor to get their ass out in the world and do the work. And that's you. The odds have landed you right where you are meant to be. And I want you hungry, because the complacent chiropractor that's been in practice and has been making it, they're playing the game, most of them. But the student that weathers the storm and stays the course and gets out committed to something bigger, to taking the lifestyle, to the principle, to taking that out into the world, that's what we need and that we have to have. Major premise. Does anybody know the chiropractic principles? Don't have to raise your hand. I'm not putting anybody on the spot, but there's 33 of these little guys, these big ideas, these little 33 principles. That's it. How do you succeed in practice? The 33 principles. How do you succeed in practice? The big idea. How do you succeed in practice? From above down, inside out. You get that, you ingrain that in everything that you do, in the way that you speak to people, in the way that you train your staff, in the way that you love your spouse, in the way that you move in the world. You ingrain those things into who you are. You will never struggle in practice. Never, never. I guarantee it. Because innate will guide you, and you won't be moving with your head, you'll be moving with your heart. The major premise: a universal intelligence is in all matter and continuously gives to all its properties and actions, thus maintaining its existence. The reason this is so crucial to who you are and where you're at is that there is something bigger than you. You are in ego mode right now. You are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and a lot of time and energy to be a chiropractor. And you're going to look at your hands, and there's going to be this ego thing that comes over you, that you think you the man, you the woman, are the answer, but it ain't you. It's universal intelligence. It's innate intelligence. It's above down, inside out. It's through you, not from you. So why the first premise first? The first principle first? Because you have to understand and surrender that ego to remember that it's not you doing it. You don't do chiropractic. You deliver an adjustment, and innate takes it from there. And if you can stay in that alignment, first of all, it takes some of the pressure off, because when a case comes in, like the type of case that I ended my day with, when I have a young man telling me that he's been suicidal and his sister keeps nagging him about coming to see this crazy chiropractor that she goes to, and he's having all these feelings, and I, Devin, the girl, doubt for a second, shit, how did this get here? Like, this is a scary situation. There is a lot going on, right? Like, how are you trusting me with this? And then I remember, oh yeah, it's not, I don't heal him. His body healed. Oh, he's out of connection with his source. I've got to bring him back to source. I can do that. Then it takes the pressure off of me. I don't do it. I help facilitate it. Big difference. So let your chiropractic philosophy be what keeps you humble when you are radically successful, seeing lots of people making lots of money. Because being a humble servant, being a humble and grateful servant, that's not something you can teach. That is something you have to bring yourself back to. It is the anchor. Now, hands on your heart again, because I know you've heard this one, but glory of going on, right? So I want you inward, hands on your heart, feel that beating of your heart, that connection to source. Chiropractic is no exception to the rule. Our illustrious father placed this chiropractic trust in our keeping to keep it pure and not sullied or defamed. We pass it on to you to protect, as he would have also had us do. As he passed on, so will we. We admonish you to keep this principle and practice unadulterated and unmixed. Humanity needed then what he gave us. You need what we now give to you. Out there in those great open spaces are multitudes seeking what you possess. Ready? Here it is. The burdens are heavy. Responsibilities are many. Obligations are providential, but the satisfaction of traveling the populated highways and byways, relieving suffering, prolonging lives, adding millions of years to lives of millions of suffering people will bring forth satisfaction and glory with greater blessings than you could think. And time is of the essence. May God flow from above down his bounteous strengths, courages, and understandings to carry on. And may your innates receive and act on that flow of wisdom from above down, inside out. Open your eyes and look down at your hands for a second. Look at your hands. Look at the wrinkles and the crevices in your hands. For you have in your possession a sacred trust. Guard it well. These hands, stay looking at your hands. Time is of the essence, friends. Look at the hands and imagine all the babies and women and children and men, families. You are going to affect millions of lives in your time on planet Earth. And how much energy and love and dedication you put into the stage of chiropractic journey that you're in now will reflect the level of love and service that these hands are capable of. From above down, inside out, those hands that you have been given, it should blow your mind. And if it doesn't, get away from the table and don't dare put your hands on someone. It should be sacred what we do. And I am as spoiled as the next person. I have been gifted the opportunity to be a very successful woman in practice. Remember, I said I was a single mom on food stamps. So wear all the feather earrings and hats and boots and crazy cool places that chiropractic, it's paid for all of it. All of these people, they work tirelessly and they come to my office and they slide money across the table from their hard work. And I lay my hands and they get up and they're different for it. And the level of focus, of love, of determination and dedication that I put into my craft into the love and respect for what I do mirrors back at me the type of chiropractor that I'm becoming. And it's so easy to slide off track and to think about my 5 kids and to think about how hard COVID times are and to get angry about masks and vaccines and 18 other things that I could get distracted about. Or I could put all my eggs in one basket, like BJ Palmer said. Everything you've got, put it all on red and bet with all your heart on chiropractic. Bet with all your heart in your hands, because it is the answer. And I believe that, yes, I'm delivering adjustments. Yes, I'm helping with aches and pains and depression and stress and constipation and asthma. I'm helping with all these things. And by opening the doors, and my girls, for better or worse, I think this is one of those chiropractic zones where, I don't want to give you bad advice, but we've never worn masks in my practice. And I'm not the least bit ashamed of that. I've had lots of people ask me about it. And I just said, at the end of the day, I answer to my God, not my governor. And I believe this is one of the greatest lies of all time. And to abide by certain regulations, even though it's against that kind of truth in me, number one, would make me sick. And number two, it makes me complicit to the lie. And I can't. No judgment to any other office or any other chiropractor or any other office team and how they want to do it. They're doing them. I have to do me. My patients, if they walked in and saw me in one, I think they would probably turn on me. I think there would be a revolution and they would flip tables and chairs and say, what the hell happened to our chiropractor? Because when they do ask me about it, I don't want to tell them how it is. I want to live it. I don't want to be able to sell a truth. I want to embody and live that truth. And so it's not to say that I haven't had to wear one on a plane or I haven't, but if my 4 walls of my practice are where I deliver chiropractic service, can't do it. Actually, I could. I won't do it. And it's because I believe that with my adjustment comes reconnection to source, restored trust in the body's capability to heal and thrive, restored connection to trust in God, that there's been viruses forever and we have learned to adapt. And if we're looking out there and not taking responsibility for what's in here, we're already off the mark. And it's part of what people pay me for. So when you're making choices, when you're making social media presence, which if you aren't on social media, I am going to ask you, beg you to get your ass out there now and post and speak up now. Share as much as you can. I understand you got to be careful with affiliated to your school, but you guys have a freedom to share the truth of chiropractic that some of us, because of our regulating boards, do not have. So you have a greater responsibility to speak truth because you can't yet serve it with your hands yet. But now is where you start to really establish what you're made of and your conviction for your truth. So push yourself to get out there and share, because it's not one day I'll be a chiropractor. You're in the game now and we need you now. And your passion and your conviction will push the chiropractors that need to be pulling their weight a little bit more. So I'm begging, and I said this to the students at Life and the students at Palmer that I just recently, we need you. We need you. And I will help hold the chiropractors to the flame to be better examples for you, because it goes both ways. We have to push each other, because just like the single mom that had that rage turned on inside me a year going, where the hell were the chiropractors not telling me they could help? Well, I'm asking it now, and I'm not super happy about where are the chiropractors now? And what will it take? What will it take? How much suffering will we have to watch? How much pain will we have to watch before we step up and go, there's another way. For anybody out there that believes in the power that made the body heals the body, for anybody that sees this autonomic nervous system and the brilliance of the brain and the body in this intricate system that was designed to operate from 2 cells to this living, breathing organism, for anybody that wants to trust the God that created them over news and regulations that changes by the hour, let the world do what it's going to do. But there's another way. We need to be that. And we needed it yesterday. That glory of going on excerpt that I read, the time is of the essence. Oh, I don't know what we're waiting on or how painful it has to get. But pain is a good teacher. And we're all bending and breaking in our own ways with this. And it's pushed me to a point where, you know, I talked to Dr. Jennifer Floriani. Raise hands of the people I can see if you know who that is. What? Oh my God, I have to connect you to her. So Dr. Jen Floriani is in Australia. Her husband and her are both chiropractors. She wrote Well-Adjusted Babies. Every single one of you go order a copy of Well-Adjusted Babies. You're going to want to tell every mom, expectant mother in your practice about it. It's the Bible. It is the chiropractor wellness lifestyle version of what to expect when you're expecting. Every woman and man, but especially women, need that, because it would help change the trajectory of the poor health of children in this country instantly. If every mom had to read that book, you would see a downward spike in all illness, in cancer, in all of it, because we would start them out right. Well-Adjusted Babies, go get it. So good. But Dr. Jennifer is in Melbourne, Australia, and her governing board, because they've been in full lockdowns. Like if we think we've had it rough, we don't know anything. In Australia, it's been a whole nother level. And she turned in her license because of the she's still serving and she's going to be able to do a lot more. But her and I shared a conversation multiple times through this. And I talked to her again last week. And she was like, you know, I realized that the chiropractic truth will show up to help remove subluxations by the masses. I can, you know, and it's as valuable, and I won't compromise it. And she is, you guys just watch out for her, because she's about to make big waves now that she has the freedom of not having that license over her. But those are the chiropractors that I surround myself with, the ones that will fight to the death for this thing. The Tim Youngs and the Billy DeMosses and the Ian Tremaines and the Zeuses. And I mean, like, proximity is power. Dr. Denisa Weber, who y'all got in your backyard. I hang out with people who fan my flames, not tell me to play safe. The ones who hold me accountable of like, hey, you've been quiet. Where are you at? Like, the world needs that truth. And how much are you willing to give when chiropractic calls you to serve? Because it is. Now, I've ranted in lots of different directions. But of all the things, we host an event called The Big Idea, which is going to be coming back around this spring. But the big idea, right? What's BJ say? You get the big idea and all else follows, right? So the last thing that I want to read you is the big idea. And I want you to close your eyes and get a visual of this happening and where you play in it. A slip on the snowy sidewalk in winter is a small thing. It happens to millions. A fall from a ladder in the summer is a small thing. It also happens to millions. The slip or fall produces a subluxation. The subluxation is a small thing. The subluxation produces pressure on a nerve, and that pressure is a small thing. That decreased flowing produces a diseased body and brain. That is a big thing to that man. Multiply that sick man by 1,000, and you control the mental and physical welfare of a city. Multiply that man by 130 million, and you forecast and can prophesy the physical and mental status of a nation. So the slip or fall, the subluxation, pressure, flow of mental images, and dis-ease are big enough to control the thoughts and actions of a nation. The pressure on a nerve is a small thing. The released pressure restoring health is a big thing. Now comes a man, and one man is a small thing. This man gives an adjustment. The adjustment is a small thing. The adjustment replaces the subluxation. That is a small thing. The adjusted subluxation releases pressures on nerves. That is a small thing. The released pressure restores health to that man. This is a big thing to that man. Multiply that well man by 1,000 and you step up the physical and mental welfare of a city. Multiply that well man by 1,000,000 and you have produced a healthy, wealthy, and better race for posterity. So the adjustment of the subluxation to release pressure upon nerves, to restore mental impulse flow, to restore health, ready, is big enough to rebuild the thoughts and actions of the world. The idea that knows the cause, that can correct the cause of dis-ease is one of the biggest ideas known. Without it, nations fall. With it, nations rise. The idea is the biggest I know of. We are subluxated, all of us, individually and collectively. Chiropractic is the answer, individually and collectively. You, not someone out there, not me, not Tim Young, not Billy DeMoss, not your professors, not the president of your university, not your governor, not your president, not any of them. You are the answer. These hands that you have been given, this calling that has called you to the here and now, you are the answer. And you can help unsubluxate humanity with your voice and with your hands if you're in clinic or, otherwise. But with your voice, with your philosophy, you can help humanity find the big idea. To tap into life without fear, you can restore connection. Dive deep, unplug from the world, get out of there. The answer is not out there. It's in here, and it's in those books. And any chiropractor that tries to sell you something else, walk away, because it is the big idea that grows your practice and your life beyond what you can even conceptualize. You're going to live a life so spoiled if you only heed the call. So that's what I got that's on my heart. Now the mama bear comes out, because like I told him before we got on, it's great for me to do this, but that's my opinion. I want to hear from you. I want to know what's on your heart, on your mind, whether it's about life or practice or anything. I am an open book, which I think you probably gathered by now. So, and the answer is no if you don't ask. So ask questions. And thank you for spending your time with me tonight.
Go ahead, fire away, y'all. I'm going to be dropping, we got about 15 minutes left with Dr. Devin. I'm going to be dropping the next Zoom link in the chat here, but go ahead, fire away. Y'all got 15 minutes.
Anything.
I think you scared him, Doc.
It's happened before.
What's your favorite principle?
Honestly, one. That first principle, that major premise, because the rest of it just expands on that one. So if you don't get that one, you can't get any of the other ones. But I do, like, I printed them all out, and we go through them in my office. So we'll pick one a week and just try and cycle through, because I need my staff to get it too. So it is good because they hit you at different times. and you're going to understand them in deeper ways as you evolve. So mainly print them out and get to know them.
What's the best way to keep ourselves consistent?
Things like this, staying out of your own head. Tony Robbins says proximity is power. And so, you know, you are the sum of the 5 people you're closest to. So, you know, tapping into different groups and setting goals now. And whether it's a book club or calls like this, you know, of course it's cliche, but it's New Year's, right? So like, let every day before this just be gone and let it be what it is. Decide who you want to be, and whether it's your physical health that needs, I mean, because again, guys, you're the product. So if you're in crap health, you're delivering a crap product. And that's not just physical health, that's emotional health. So if you're really angry, if you're really sad, if you're really fatigued, like, those are human things, and it's going to allow you to serve people, to realize that you're human and that you have healing to do. But you need to set very clear goals on where you need to be working right now. And then consistency, right? So for the first quarter, this is what I'm going to work on in my personal life. This is what I'm going to work on in my practice or school life. And then find somebody and tell them, like, if I fall off the wagon, I need you to smack me around a little bit. That's why I married a chiropractor. If that's an option for any of you out there, highly recommend it, because it's kind of the best ever. You can get adjusted anytime you want. It's all we talk about. So it makes consistency a lot easier, because we don't practice together. That's another subject. But we opened together, and then we wanted to stay married. So we have separate practices now. But we talk every day. We talk every day at lunch. You know, what's your favorite part of the morning? Like, how are you going to crank it up? And there's, you know, friendly competition there as well, of like, with big goals. So we're, you know, find people that push you.
What are
I have
some
a question.
Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
What is like your go-to method to center yourself whenever things are hectic in your life?
Breath. It's the fastest thing for me. Are you guys familiar with Abraham Hicks? She's a good one to listen to. But she just says you have to stop the momentum, right? So if you have to find your center, it means you're off your center. So being able to catch yourself off center is amazing, first of all, because most people don't even have the awareness of that conversation, right? That there is a center. So catching yourself and then stopping the momentum that took you off center in the first place. So whether it's a fight with a friend or loved one, or a social media post about a trigger, or a tough conversation at the office, or a professor, I mean, pick your poison at this point, right? There's so many triggers. So regardless, you just have to stop it. Maybe it's taking 5 or 10 deep breaths like we did at the beginning. That's why I did that with you first, because it just stops whatever was going on before. We broke that and we created a new space. Breath does that. Taking a nap, going for a walk, getting in the sun, prayer, meditation, really anything that stops the momentum that caused discord in the first place.
I guess to add on to that question, what are some of the checks that you have for yourself when you're serving to make sure you're staying out of
Get
educated?
busy, because the busier you are, the less likely it is. So get as busy as you can, as fast as you can, which sounds like easier said than done, right? But it is the secret. If you are busy, like we were slammed all day today, I don't have time to think about me. I don't have time to think about my problems. I don't have time to get distracted with what I need to do later. I don't have time to overthink the adjustment. It keeps me fully present in the moment. And so, you know, a busy practice is a fun one. And so with that said, until you're busy, act as if until. And so one of the ways that I grew as fast as I did was by recommendation from a mentor to do practice patients. And so like, we didn't have downtime. We didn't have, chit chat time. So my front desk staff has been with me on and off because of her moves for 7 years. And when we were slow, we would make travel cards for, Ellen and Big Bird and Jax from Sons of Anarchy. I just remember some of the things that were going on there where we made it where it was fun, right? I saw a few of you smile. Like we made things that made us smile so it didn't feel like work. And we just stayed in motion. So she's like, good afternoon, Big Bird. Come on back. Dr. Devin's ready for you. And we just kept seeing patients. That serves in lots of different ways because I was mentally trained for the pace that I was working for, right? So it's like you run the pace of the 4-minute mile till you can run the 4-minute mile. And I did that in my mind before I ever did it in real life. So if you're talking about in practice, keep your body focused on what you're there for. Don't check social media. Like I deleted the Chrome browser or whatever from my computer so that I cannot get on the computer. Like, no, I'm here to serve. If there are any people, then I'm going to practice serving. And I practiced my report of findings, and I practiced my new patient consult, and I practiced tough cases. I practiced, we went through like her financial report of findings, and what if they say this? And what if they say that? Like we stayed in it. It's all my eggs in one basket and focus, focus, focus. Now we're so busy, like it's really pretty hard for me to come off focus because I'm in the zone if I'm in my practice, and I'm blessed to stay that busy. If it's not a day, like a snow day, right? And I have to like reconnect that. I write down the names of the people I want to see. So I just stand there and wait, and thoughts become things. So I just try to think about those people that I'm like, I wonder how they're doing. I wonder how they're doing. And I just mentally say prayers for my patients. And then all of a sudden the phone rings and they're like, you'll never guess who called. And I was like, yeah, I just wrote her name down. Like you manifest those things. So find ways that still serve your growth to keep you busy. And in school, how would I answer that question to stay on track? Yeah, always be studying. Pick up a green book, turn on a YouTube video. Here's one. Jim Rohn, who was Tony Robbins' mentor, said, stand guard at the door of your mind. Like how much, if I had like a little vial of poison, how much poison would it take to taint this cup? How much poison would I be okay if somebody walked up with rat poison? Hey, can I put some rat poison in there? No. How about just a pebble? No rat poison. Thank you. I'm good on my rat poison. Well, thoughts, social media triggers, negativity loves company, right? So like you got to stand there and like guard your cup, guard your mind, and don't let that stuff in there. So don't fill your free time with filth. Don't allow it in. Like if somebody's negative, that's fascinating. I never thought about that. Hey, I got to get going and get out of there. Like stop that momentum. And so, realizing that you're off is key, but yep. Stand guard.
What if your peers are negative? Do you give up or do you try to change them?
That again?
What if your peers are negative? Do you give up on them or do you try to help them change?
You ready for this one? This is fun. Your outer world reflects your inner world, and taking radical, relentless responsibility for that. They're reflecting back at you things that you probably don't want to see in yourself if you're sticking around for it. Dr. Richard Yenny, who is my acupuncture mentor, hands down, probably the chiropractor I'm most thankful for in my years to date. He would eat dinner, or he would come with us to different things, or we would get going. I remember going to a dinner and we got on a rant about vaccines. And I was so pissed. Like Tim Young calls me the Hulk for a reason. And I'm like angry mama bear mode. And I remember like we were all talking, and he at first kind of like went to it. And then he was like, I'm going to go to bed. And it was early. And we're all like, no, you normally stay and hang out. And he was out. And later when we, I was like, are you okay? You went to bed early. And he was like, that there was no stopping the momentum of that conversation. And I won't allow that in my head and heart space. And it was like, of like, oh, so if there's anger and fear out there, it's because I've got it in here. Like I choose what I look at is number one. And number two, don't try to make them wrong, because you can't. Like you just have to observe it and go, yeah, I don't want that. So I'm going to go read a green book, or I'm going to go watch, a YouTube video that is happy, like Abrahamic, something that adds value. And being aware that you have, like BJ Palmer says too, like you're either going up the ladder or down the ladder. So every situation that you're in is either taking you up or taking you down. And if you catch yourself down, go find something that takes you back up. And sometimes that's just walking away. Lastly, don't try to save them. Get away from them. It's cancer. So like, say your piece, find ways to invite them to stuff like this and let it be. It is not your job to save anyone, now or later. You don't save them. You serve them. Hey, we're having this philosophy talk later. That might be something that brightens your spirits. All right, peace out. See you later. Like, just serve them in some way. Then you did your work, and then remove yourself every chance you get.
I think we have one more question, Doc, from Miss Brianne.
So, Mama Bear, since you brought up vaccines, how do you talk to your patients about this, mass manufactured vaccine that's going around?
Sometimes they open the door for me where they say like, well, I guess first of all, if I look at my major premise is chiropractic, not vaccines. So I don't bring it up. Unless they open the door for me, but like I'm all in on what I'm for and not what I'm against. So I don't have like billboards in my practice about vaccines, because that's not, I want to demonstrate a different way. And then when they do ask, are you getting the vaccine? Or half of my practice is babies and kids. So it is on the regular that someone's like, yeah, we see their pediatrician next week, or yeah, he just got shots. Yeah, she's due to get shots next week. And it's like, oh, here we go. Like, but I have to remember that I first learned about vaccines through the eyes that most of us see it in 2008. So like I've been studying for years. These people don't even know they're asleep. They don't even know. So I can't be mad at them. And so keeping my energy centered is key, and just say, do you guys do a full schedule? And like I open with questions as much as possible and say, are you open to information about vaccines at all? I just, mother of 5, there are a lot of things I wish I had known sooner. And if they say yes, then I just say, I'm going to send you a book list, and I'm an open book. If you ever want to have a conversation. Now my hours, like I just said, I'm super busy. So if I get on a 5-minute tirade about vaccines, then I just made the rest of my lobby wait, because my time is not for talking, it's for adjusting. So I set up different times, but I have handouts. So that goes for any topic that I'm really passionate about, or the question that I answer over and over again. I have handouts where it's like, hey, take this. If you want more information, I'm happy to get it to you. And it's got my email on it, so I can connect with them that way. But I just try to open the door. And then if they do say like, oh, he just came from his shots and we hadn't had time to have the conversation yet, I say, which ones did he get? And they freeze, all of them. And they're like, I don't, just the ones they get at 2 months. And I was like, and I always ask, well, you're going to want to, make sure and ask those questions, because every pediatrician has, a different, set that they typically, and so it just starts the like, holy shit, I didn't even ask what they just put in my child. Cause that was me. That was the mom that I was. I just did what I thought I was supposed to do. And I went to my son's 2-month, and he had a horrible fever, and they told me it was normal. And I did Tylenol. This was pre-chiropractic school. I went to the 4 months, and he had, a seizure. Looking back, I really think the level of reactions that I saw. And so I have to go back to the version of me that didn't know what I didn't know, and what would have cracked the door open with her And then that's how I choose to speak. But have those handouts, have the list of books, have the list of resources. And if you guys want it, I actually just helped throw an event called the Freedom Revival with Bobby Kennedy and Dell and Andy Wakefield. And for that, I made a booklet. And there's like, I don't even know how many pages it is, but full of resources, books. I mean, you name it, books, articles, research art. I mean, I can give you that. Then you can just forward it on. Yeah, if you just, I'll just give it, to you guys who set it up, and then you can distribute it. But just first of all, don't, again, like I answered about the negativity with peers, it's like, you can't make them wrong. If you make somebody wrong, they're done listening. They're done. They don't hear you anymore. And it's shame. That's why we do that. It's a self-preservation. When you tell someone they're wrong, that induces shame in their system, which is the lowest vibration emotion that we can experience. And so opening the door of questions of, hey, have you guys had a chance to do much research on vaccines? I know it's a really hot topic right now. Again, I don't tell people what to do or how to live, but I'm going to make sure that you are empowered in the decisions that you have to make as a parent. And so I know my 10 anchoring statements. And then when they say, hey, doc, you're going to get the COVID vaccine, I say, what do you think? or absolutely not. I mean, I don't hold back when they bring it up. It's like, no, thank you. My health comes from above, down, inside out. You know that. I don't need all that silly stuff. And I just dismiss it,
Oof. Thank you, Doc.
Well, I hope it was helpful. And if you guys need anything, you know how to find me on social. And I mean it when I say, like, if you need anything, let me know. And Denisa Weber and I have been talking about coming to Parker or hosting something for a while, because we realize that you guys are going through a lot right now. So if you need anything, please don't hesitate to ask.
Appreciate that very much. Everybody, I just dropped the next Zoom link. So if you guys want to go ahead and copy that right now, we'll wait a couple minutes, let y'all get that, load that up. Zach will get you in. Doc, I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much for doing this for us.
And we are planning a playground to your area. Whoever typed that, I can kind of make it out on my screen. So I'm working.
Yeah, I went to Life and it was awesome. So I really want you guys to come out here.
This whole crazy portal. We called out for this madness. So
yeah.
So maybe we can make Parker the next stop.
Perfect. All right, y'all. Go ahead, grab that link and we'll switch on over.
Bye, friends.